Because you have such.
Hello.
All right. So first of all, the number one intention of this is for everyone to have a good name, to be aware of where we work, our environment, how we do business, and ultimately to think highly of us. So to get more awareness of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we're different than the rest. So that's the number one intention, and with that, in everything that we do, we want everyone to have an enjoyable time. So that's the first thing. So part of the reason this came about was last 2 weeks ago, I got a discount for long-term care insurance for young Israels, specifically young Israel Southfield, but I could open it up to the other young Israel as well. And it's basically a 10% discount off standard rates for New York Life long-term care insurance. So I wanted to get the word out, and I didn't feel comfortable putting it in the shul bulletin or sending out a mailing to the membership list. I wanted to just get the awareness out with a classy way. So basically a week ago, last Sunday, I was talking to someone who was talked about getting Chinese food on Christmas. That was basically the only food. So that's where we just came up with this. So it was pretty spontaneous, and amazingly, the whole Jewish world seems to be out of the state right now in Florida, or have other Christmas parties. I didn't realize that it was such a popular thing. So so thank you all for coming. I do appreciate it, and hopefully you'll get some insights from it as well. So just briefly about long-term care, there is some information on in your packets here, which goes into the 7 reasons you should get long-term care, Wall Street Journal article that says don't grow old without it. And the gist of it, in my opinion, the most important thing is to keep in mind a few things. First of all, from an insurance perspective, it's one of the only products I've ever seen in the insurance industry that has consistently lost money. The insurance companies have mispriced that. So what does that mean? It's actually a good deal for the consumers. So right now, a lot of the insurance companies have left the marketplace, and there's much fewer carriers than ever have been. And a lot of the ones that were in the market have raised rates on their existing policyholders time and time over again. There's very few companies left that haven't raised rates on existing policyholders once and have no intention in doing it, although they might. But that's kind of the environment. So we could go into all the differences between different companies and why some companies have raised rates on existing policyholders and what to expect going forward. But that's for another time as far as that. But the message that I want to get out is that it's a product that's becoming increasingly important because healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and the government is not going to help you pay for it. Medicaid is not really an option. Medicare is getting cuts dramatically and only covers you short term anyway. And basically it's your savings, which is your nest egg. And what I think the most valuable reason is to not have to count on your kids. And it's basically a way to prepay for care. So if you need it, you won't think about spending it because you already have the benefit. So if you needed care 20 years from now, you don't want to be counting pennies as far as, well, can I afford this, can I afford that, or worse off, having to depend on your kids to help take care of it. So it's a peace of mind that you already spent the money and it was allocated for that specific purpose, and I think that's really where the value is, so you won't have to count on your kids to helping out, or you won't think twice about getting care you need at a time when you need it. That's it about long-term care. And the second thing, and this is something that I really love talking about, which long-term care I don't because it's kind of a morbid topic, is something that we do that's different is a life insurance audit. So what you'll find in the industry is a lot of people buy life insurance policies over the course of their life, and many people buy 5, 6, 7 types of policies in their life, and very often the insurance broker that comes into their house just sells another policy without taking into consideration of what they have. So what we do is a life insurance audit for everyone who has existing policies. And there's a 1-page sheet in the packet which basically summarizes how we take existing policies and we summarize how it's going to perform and then give a few options of what we think may make sense going forward. So a lot of our competitors, what they'll do is get in-force illustrations and get other illustrations, and they have 80 pages of documents, and they'll just pull one summary page from each document, put it out across the table, and think that the consumer will have a chance in understanding what they're trying to suggest. So we put it on a 1-page sheet that's easy to understand. We've been doing this for about a year, and we've been incredibly successful, and we've gotten awesome feedback about it. So we're excited about that. The third thing is to build awareness about the Nautilus Group. In April, we got into this group called the Nautilus Group. And New York Life has about 12,000 agents in their field force. There's about 240 of us that are in the Nautilus Group, 4 in the state of Michigan. And what the Nautilus Group is, it represents about 30% of the insurance company's premiums. So what they do for us is they allocate a tremendous amount of resources. And there's about 40 attorneys and CPAs that sit in Texas, and they create these plan reviews. They do document reviews for trust, wills, operating agreements, at no cost. They do business valuations. They do a lot of value-added services at no cost to the consumers. They also have, they will, depending on what you need, but they put together these binded booklets if you have a complicated estate planning need, which basically says how much money you're going to need in retirement, how we're going to do it, and summarizes everything you have in place. And it's something that you really don't see much in the industry. So it's more for the affluent marketplace, but it's a core resource that we wanted to get out, especially with this environment with estate planning, how the exemptions are dropping. Right now, they're scheduled to drop to $1 million as of now. As far as if anyone knows about the estate taxes, who knows where it's going to go. But the Nautilus Group helps recommend the legal structure of your assets going forward and summarizes them quickly. So it's a good asset to have. And the last thing is we want you to enjoy yourselves and have a good time. There's a lot of information here for follow-up that goes into everything we described. And that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions about any of the things that I just briefly mentioned, I'll be around and hang out and have a good time for as long as you like. Thanks.
Thank you very much.